So we're here with DREAMCAR, with Davey and Tony from DREAMCAR, and a couple other bands, a couple other famous bands. And I don't know how you feel about the term supergroup.
We're pretty super.
I think you are. So how did this, how do you feel about the term supergroup?
We would never have called ourselves a supergroup.
No.
We've been reading supergroup a lot.
Don't you need more?
Yeah, it feels like you would need
Wouldn't
more.
we have to have a member of an additional band?
That's
to
what I
be a
think too.
supergroup?
That's
What band would that be if
kind
it
of
became a 5-piece?
Who would be the?
Yeah, who would be the additional members?
Who do we get?
We already have a singer. We have a bass player. We have a guitar player. We have a drummer. Unless you were comfortable with a second singer,
That would be cool.
or a duet. Would you be comfortable with a guy or a girl?
That'd be cool. I mean, I don't think I want to reveal that right now.
Okay.
Maybe for the next album.
Yes.
Well, the new album, the first album, is awesome. And of course, the obvious question is, how did this all come together? And you kind of kept it a secret for, I mean, it's hard in the social media age to even know how people keep these kind of things secret, and you really did. So how did that all come together?
If I'm a part of it, it's very easy to know. Because my social media involvement, involvement is a minimal involvement.
Right.
I mean, Tony approached me. Tony, you go ahead. You go first.
Tom, Adrian, and myself wanted to keep playing music. We love playing together. We wanted to continue to do so, and it wasn't about going and finding a singer. I think that wouldn't have done justice to what we want to create. It had to be the right person, had to kind of come onto our radar, and Davey was that person. Davey, we've known Davey for years. Right about the time that Davey moved down from the Bay Area, he moved down here, I was turning vegan, and Davey and I would have conversations about that, and then we would see each other at the same places. We eat at the same places all the time, so that was kind of a thing. And then at shows, because we like the same music.
Yeah.
So one day I just said, hey, I asked Tom and Adrian, would it be cool if we asked Davey to ask him out on a date and see if he wants to. Yeah, so we asked him out on a date, and
the date was good. The date was good.
Did you go to a vegan restaurant on your dates? Which one did you go to?
Crossroads.
Crossroads, right.
Yeah, here in Los Angeles, in West Hollywood. It's
Featured in the Kill for Candy Day.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
And in fact, the actual table is featured. Table 203 is featured in the Kill for Candy, where we had our first date.
Yep.
So did it come together pretty fast after you had this meal?
No, I mean, yes and no. We worked in secrecy for 2 years,
Yes.
2.5 years.
Yes.
So in that regard,
In those terms,
it didn't move that quickly. However, I suppose in the coming together terms, it did come together very quickly because after we spoke and had the first dinner, they sent me music. And they sent me 4 songs because I had no idea what to expect. I said, oh, that sounds really interesting. Can you send me music? And they sent me music, and it was so exciting and inspiring that within a matter of 2 nights, I think I wrote 4 songs, 4 top lines and complete lyrics over what they had sent me. And I sent them these terrible garage band versions of them because that's all I know how to do because I'm not young. And and I sent it to them, and I was really happy with it, and I hoped that they'd like it, and I knew if they didn't, then it wouldn't work because it was exactly what I envisioned that to be, and I was happy they did because I was really excited about it, and we just worked from there in secrecy for years.
The one thing that people may not know about Davey is that he is extremely prolific, and he is constantly working on art. He is so creative, and between AFI and Extremist and Black Audio and now DREAMCAR, Davey's doing so much all the time. But when he's with you, he's 1,000% committed. Like, he's there in the moment. Like, there's nothing else that's happening except for what's in front of him. And it's just this amazing, like, powerful force, creative force to be in the room with, to be working with, to be writing with. And so when we sent those four ideas, I think it was a couple days and we got them back, and it was that fast. Like, Tom, Adrian, and I don't work that fast. It was like, wow, this and all this. We're like, there's something here. Let's pursue it.
What's interesting to me is when I first heard about this project, I wasn't sure like what to expect, how it would sound like. Would it sound like AFI? Would it sound like No Doubt? It kind of doesn't sound like either band, which is interesting. I wonder how the fans of both of your other bands are. How are they reacting to this? Did they expect it to sound like No Doubt? Did they expect it to sound like AFI?
I mean, I can't imagine. It's hard for me to understand thinking that it would sound like either of our bands, because to me that would mean there's no reason to do it.
Right. Good point.
So I don't know what people do expect or don't expect, but the reactions to the shows that we've been playing, which are clearly filled by who else other than AFI fans and No Doubt fans, and wherein they meet. They seem to really enjoy it, which is really great for us because we're really proud of it.
Yeah.
And it's very fun for us, and they seem to be having a good time. And there it is.
It's also early stages. Sorry, it's also early stages. We've only done 3 shows. Tonight's our 4th show.
I know, we're at the Roxy right now, and outside I saw fans already lined up. It's still daylight outside, and there's fans lined up to see you play.
So we don't know. I mean, we're just getting this feedback now. It's like it's a brand new thing for us. We've been in these different phases, creating and then writing and then getting in the studio and recording, and now we're in like, okay, we're sharing with the world our live show, and our record isn't out yet. Still, May 12th is when the record comes out. So there's all these great, exciting new milestones that we keep hitting, and so we're just feeling it now for the first time.
How does it feel? Obviously, in your respective bands, you're very used to playing really huge venues, sometimes stadiums, headline festivals, whatever. And now you're playing small clubs again. I know you played in Santa Ana last week, which is a smallish club. Like, does that feel good? Is it like nice to return to roots, or are you kind of like,
I mean, for me, that is like a misperception for me that a lot of people have that it's rare for me to play small clubs. I'm always playing small clubs. I have every band, every year, every album. So I'm very.
The last time I saw you was the Wiltern, which was pretty big.
Oh, yes, it was pretty big.
Two nights, by the way.
But 1 month prior, I played at the Troubadour.
Okay.
Black Audio played here on Bright Black Heaven. Black Audio played at Troubadour. Extremists played here, I think. AFI often plays small venues, so I'm very, very used to playing small venues. However, Tony Kanal, of Tony Kanal fame.
It's been a little while since Tom and myself have done venues, intimate venues like this.
And the last time you played in the Roxy?
The Roxy was 1991.
Wow.
Yeah, I looked it up. And unless I looked it up incorrectly, it was 1991. So it's 26 years since we've been on that stage, which is awesome that we're back here and playing it. And Adrian was saying earlier that when we were planning these first live shows leading up to Coachella, the Roxy is where he envisioned us. This is where he saw us playing our LA show, and all of us were down. Like, this is such a great, iconic venue. The stage is beautiful. We have so much fun here. We've had so much fun here, so I'm looking forward to tonight. And there's more space than Santa Ana.
The stage of the Roxy is bigger than the venue that we played in.
It's so true. That venue was tiny. Tiny.
Well, I was mentioning that DREAMCAR didn't sound like your respective bands, but one thing it sounds like that I'm very appreciative of. It's very 80s, the best decade. And so I'm just curious, what were you listening to? There's some songs that really remind me of Duran Duran. There's some that have shades of The Cure. I mean, not exactly, but some of the, there's a song on the charts very much reminds me of Duran Duran with its bass. So yeah, what were you listening to? What were your inspirations?
There were no direct influences for us when we were writing. I think all of those are fair and flattering comparisons for what we've created, but it wasn't our intention to look back. We weren't sitting down and listening to Kings of the Wild Frontier, Lexicon of Love, or The Party's Over, and saying let's do this and this. It just naturally came out of us, and as it continued to organically happen, it really fed upon itself, and we created the record that you hear. And it's very natural for all of us to go in that direction, as I believe I speak for all of us, to at least some extent we were raised on that music.
What were some of your favorite bands? Well, I guess you sort of mentioned some of the albums already, but for you, like, what were some of your favorite 80s bands that influenced you?
I'm so terrible at these questions because I always feel like I'm going to leave out stuff, but obviously The Cure, and obviously Depeche Mode, and for me, Prince, not in that same world, but was the biggest for me, and the most influential for me, in so many weird different ways. But there's so many different things. But like Davey said, those points of reference only came later. They were never discussed in the moment or in the creative process. This was just us being free to create with no expectations, with nobody else knowing that we were even working on music. And that's a beautiful place to be. You don't get that opportunity often to press the reset button, get in a studio and just be free and creative. And I think that's such a special thing to happen.
How did you even find time for this? Because you very recently with AFI released your 10th album. So, and you've been touring and stuff.
Yeah.
How did you find time to work on that and this?
I was writing and recording the Blood album simultaneously as we were writing. And it's a matter of calendaring for me. So I just scheduled.
Davey played 2 shows in Santa Ana last week, then stayed at that venue and played with AFI for a big festival on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Then flew up to San Francisco and we played on Sunday night. And now here we are. So Davey is the true definition of rock and roll.
I mean, I'm really, I'm so lucky to have that opportunity to, you know, to be able to express myself in different, you know, artistic formats, musically speaking, and actually beyond music, and have people care about what I do. So I'm very privileged, and since I have the opportunity, I try to take it if I can. I may, you know, I may be dead soon.
Don't say that.
We can only hope, though.
No, I feel like I'm actually serious about this. I feel like between the two of you, you have enough bands and music that you could like have your own festival. It could be like No Doubt, DREAMCAR, AFI.
Nope.
No.
Davey's
Then yes, I would fade. I would fade.
It's almost like you're a cottage industry.
I would fade. I'll take a cottage in the south of France.
All right. How did Gwen feel, or obviously, what did she think of this project and the music?
I don't know if she's heard it yet, but I think she's going to really like the record. Like, I think it's totally up her alley too. Yeah. She tweeted the support.
She did.
That's right.
Yeah. She hasn't heard it yet, though.
I don't know if she's heard the whole record yet.
I'm sorry to ask about, but people do wonder what the future of No Doubt is. And I think some people misleadingly thought that this was a replacement for that.
No, definitely not. And of course, we would never say that.
Yeah.
No Doubt is a very specific thing that's comprised of Tom and Adrian and myself and Gwen, and it will always be that way. And of course, and this is obviously a brand new project and a brand new band for us. I think if there's one thing that the history of No Doubt has afforded us is our opportunity to go and do different creative things. And I think we would be remiss not to explore different avenues. And this is a really great place for us to be. And I think we've earned it. You know, we've been together as a band for 30 years. So you don't want to do the same thing over and over. And for us, it was very much about trying something new. And I'm so glad we did, because I'm so proud of this DREAMCAR record. And, you know, I always say this, I don't listen to stuff that I've worked on when I'm driving in the car. And this is one of the rare exceptions.
Really?
Where I'll get in the car and listen to our record, because I really, really love the way it turned out.
Do you have, either of you have like favorite tracks from it that you want to talk about?
You do, huh?
I think I
But is it a
do.
live thing or an album thing?
I think it's my favorite song, which is crazy.
Okay. I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's The Assailant.
It is The Assailant.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Assailant. It's my favorite song on the record, and it's rare for me to have favorite songs, and I had that epiphany when we were playing it. Yeah. And I think playing it allowed me to have that epiphany. But I just really enjoy performing the song. I mean, of course, lyrically, every song has a place for me that is, for me personally, is of dire import. This is one of those. I'm particularly happy with the lyric in that song as well, and I think singing is such a joy due to how comfortable it is, and I think how appropriate the lyric is for the melody. You'll hear it. Hopefully you like it.
Can you quote a lyric or two?
Well, sure. It says, the lyric in the chorus says, "Oh darling, can't you see you're far too much like me to sail with my love would terrify me."
It's a good lyric.
Thanks.
Do you write from a different place when you're writing for this band as opposed to AFI?
Yes.
And what's the difference?
And every band.
Yeah, of course.
And every band.
What's the difference with this band?
I mean, lyrically, this band, particularly lyrically, has a playful element to it that I've never really explored before lyrically with any of my other projects. Certainly not with AFI nor Extremist, which has generally, in relatively modern times, a very grave seriousness to it. Not to say that this is light or lacks import, but there is a playful element to it, and there's a narrative element to the writing style that really naturally came with this, that is more pronounced than I've ever had before, lyrically speaking, in a way that I think is very appropriate for what we've created, and actually then extends to a different performance aspect for what I do with DREAMCAR than what I do with any of my other musical acts.
Do you find yourself being more playful on stage as well?
I would say, yeah, due to the element of that being in the lyric and in the music. And there's, I mean, what we're doing with DREAMCAR, I mean, musically is so starkly different than anything I've ever done before. I mean, there's funk elements to it, and there's disco elements to it, and the dance element to it is compared to Black Audio, which is extremely dancey, is coming from a different place, being that Black Audio is inorganic and this is organic, and also nodding to those elements that you know, I just mentioned before, which a lot of which aren't part of my musical upbringing in the same way probably your references for the funk elements and the disco elements are different than mine.
Right.
You know, for me, that's My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, and the Virgin Prunes,
Awesome.
and but also Duran Duran, and also you know, also King and
King, like Love and Pride, King?
and Pride.
Wow, what a great reference. I love that song.
I Kiss the Spiky Fridge. Do you have that record?
You know, I used to post on Facebook like remember this song in the day, and the first time I ever did it, I'm like, remember Love and Pride? And all these people came out of the woodwork going, what happened to them? Good reference. Very cool. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that similarity. It's like rock with fun.
But what Davey was talking about with the playfulness in the lyrics, in the creative process, when you're really writing music together, and when you hear that stuff, that also drives the direction of the song too. So, you know, you've got this initial idea, but when you actually go in the studio and now you've got this kind of complete idea as a demo, the playfulness in those lyrics drives what you're now going to actually record on your final part, your bass part, your drums, the production elements, the effects, and everything. So I think it's like, I think you can really hear it throughout the album and throughout the songs.
What else would you say? You touched on this, but what do you get out of this that you haven't gotten out of No Doubt or other music you've done?
Well, I can say specifically our producer Tim Pagnotta made me slap on pretty much every song, and I haven't slapped, I haven't played that style of bass playing for a good couple of decades. So it's been a while since I did that. But I don't know, I just feel like it was a very creative space to work in, and that's what was so, I think, fulfilling about it.
Will this be a one-off, or I mean, it's maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse because your first album's not out. But do you think this will be something that will continue, another album?
I mean, yeah, we hope so.
Totally.
Yeah.
We're just taking it a day at a time. We're enjoying these shows, and we're about to do Coachella, and then head to the East Coast, and the record comes out, and I think it's all good. We'll see where it goes.
Cool. Well, I should let you go because the sun is setting outside, and you need to go downstairs and play an awesome show at the Roxy. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to see you, and I'll see you in the desert, Coachella as well.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.